Chosen one, pause. Before you click this, something inside you stirred, quietly, insistently, as if the air itself leaned toward you. This is not random. This moment was arranged. Heaven doesn't interrupt lives by accident. It whispers at the exact second the soul is ready to listen. And right now you're listening because something ended, shifted, or slipped from your hands. And no one fully understands why it hurt you this deeply. You've been carrying questions in silence, wondering if you misread the signs, if you waited too long, if you failed a divine test you didn't even know you were taking. And chosen one, before we go deeper, pause for a moment, hit subscribe and comment. I'm listening if your spirit is already responding, because this message is about to speak directly to you. Not as noisy, not as motivation, but as confirmation. There are battles you survived that never left visible scars, doors that closed without explanation, opportunities that vanished right when you were ready to give everything. From the outside, it looked like a loss, but in the unseen realm, it was an investigation. Heaven was watching how much you were willing to sacrifice, even when the weight was never meant to be yours. You felt the confusion because your spirit knew something your mind couldn't yet prove. That restlessness wasn't regret. It was a misalignment. Some assignments look holy, but slowly drain the light from you. Some paths glitter at first, then quietly demand pieces of your peace as payment, and you kept wondering why it felt so heavy to hold something everyone else said was a blessing. Here is the revelation you've been waiting for. You didn't drop the opportunity, your spirit was relieved of it. You weren't late, you weren't careless, you weren't unworthy, you were protected. What was removed was never designed to rest in your hands long term. Heaven doesn't burden its chosen ones with weights that would break their calling. This message found you because the truth is about to surface. A hidden alignment is being revealed, and what comes next will make sense of everything that had to end. Chosen one, some burdens look like blessings at first, but they're too heavy for your spirit. What you think you lost was never meant to be held by you. You were released, not rejected. Chosen one, there are moments in life when something looks divinely assigned to you, almost custom made for your talents, your effort, your sacrifice. On the surface, it appears aligned. Others may even confirm it for you, yet deep inside something feels off. Not wrong in a dramatic way, just heavy. And that heaviness is the first truth your soul speaks before your mind can translate it. Not everything that looks meant for you is designed to sustain you. Some opportunities are real, but temporary. Some paths are valid, but not permanent. And chosen ones often confuse visibility with destiny. You step into roles because you can, not because you were meant to carry them long term. Your soul, however, always knows the difference. That's why exhaustion shows up before logic does. That's why weariness whispers long before burnout screams. Have you noticed how the tiredness wasn't just physical? It was deeper than sleep could fix. Your body kept going, but your spirit started pulling back. Joy didn't disappear suddenly. It faded quietly. Motivation didn't crash. It thinned out. Resistance crept in, not as rebellion, but as protection. Chosen one, these are not flaws. These are signals. The soul grows tired before the mind accepts the truth because the soul sees the full cost. Spiritual overload doesn't announce itself loudly. It shows up as heaviness in the chest, a subtle dread before starting something you once loved, a strange loss of meaning even when things seem successful. You keep asking yourself, why am I grateful but drained? Why am I advancing but empty? And you try to push through because chosen ones are trained to endure. You've survived storms before, so you assume this is just another test. But what if it wasn't a test of strength, but a call to release? Chosen ones often carry assignments longer than they should because they mistake endurance for obedience. You stay loyal to seasons that were only meant to visit you. You keep holding what once served you but is now slowly consuming your light. And heaven watches, not to punish, but to protect. Because there comes a point where perseverance turns into self-abandonment, and divine purpose never requires you to disappear. That's when mercy arrives disguised as fatigue, not as failure, not as collapse, but as a quiet weakening of desire, a gentle detachment, a holy tiredness that says, "This is no longer yours to carry." God does not always remove things dramatically. Sometimes he drains the strength required to keep holding them. Sometimes he lets the soul grow weary so the chosen one finally loosens their grip without guilt. Ask yourself gently, what felt heavy long before it ended? What required constant effort just to feel okay? What drained you even when you were doing it well? These questions aren't meant to accuse you. They're meant to free you. Because when divine mercy steps in, it doesn't shame you for being tired. It releases you from what was slowly costing you your peace. And once you understand that, the exhaustion no longer feels like weakness. It feels like wisdom. This is where the shift begins. Chosen one, there comes a quiet but pivotal moment in every awakened life when you realize that ability and assignment are not the same thing. Just because something fits your skills does not mean it fits your spirit. You are capable of many things, but you were not called to carry all of them. And this is where false alignment begins to quietly disguise itself as purpose. False alignment often looks impressive. It uses your strengths, rewards your discipline, and validates your intelligence. From the outside, it appears like progress. You're moving, building, achieving. But inside, something dims. The work gets done, yet your inner light slowly fades. Have you ever noticed that strange contradiction? Being productive but spiritually tired? Advancing, yet feeling less like yourself? That is the cost of walking a path that fits your skill set but not your soul. True purpose, on the other hand, moves differently. It doesn't rush you. It doesn't threaten you with loss if you slow down. It doesn't pressure you to prove your worth. True purpose has a calm authority. It waits for your alignment rather than demanding your exhaustion. Chosen one, if something requires you to constantly fight your own nature just to stay in it, that is not destiny, it is distortion. Purpose expands you. It does not shrink you to survive. Ask yourself honestly, where did you start feeling like you had to force momentum? Where did rest begin to feel dangerous? Where did peace feel like a luxury you could no longer afford? These are not signs of commitment, they are signals of misalignment. Success that costs too much peace is never a divine upgrade. Heaven does not reward you by draining your joy. It does not elevate you by silencing your spirit. Many chosen ones stay too long in false alignment because it almost feels right. The results are real. The recognition is tangible. Walking away feels irresponsible, even scary. But heaven's redirection is rarely loud. God doesn't always push you out. Sometimes he gently unsettles you. He allows discomfort to grow, not to confuse you, but to wake you. That uneasy feeling you kept praying away was actually guidance. Have you noticed how something can look perfect on paper, but feel wrong in prayer? How the more you succeed, the more disconnected you feel. That is not ingratitude. That is discernment awakening. When something is truly aligned, it brings a quiet sense of rightness, even in challenge. When it's false, it demands constant justification. Heaven redirects the chosen one subtly because force isn't required. A door doesn't slam, it stops opening as easily. Favor becomes inconsistent. Passion fades without explanation. And slowly the soul begins to lean away. This is not punishment, this is protection. You were never meant to chase purpose. Purpose recognizes you. It meets you with peace, not pressure. And when you finally step out of false alignment, you don't lose momentum, you recover your light. That is how you know you're walking toward what is truly yours. Chosen one, there is a sacred difference between what you are good at and what you are called to. Many paths will recognize your talent. Few will honor your spirit. And this is where confusion begins. Because false alignment does not feel wrong at first. It feels capable. It feels efficient. It feels like something you can handle. But purpose was never meant to be handled. It was meant to be inhabited. What fits your skills often appeals to your logic. It makes sense on paper. It rewards effort. It confirms your competence. Yet what fits your spirit speaks in a quieter language. It doesn't just ask, can you do this? It asks, can you remain whole while doing this? Have you ever noticed how some roles energize your confidence but slowly disconnect you from yourself? That is the early tension between alignment and assignment. False alignment feels productive, but it quietly drains your inner light. You're moving, achieving, checking boxes, yet something sacred inside you grows dimmer. Your days fill up, but your soul feels less present. You keep going because stopping feels irresponsible, because it looks like progress. But chosen one, productivity without presence is one of the most dangerous illusions for a spiritually sensitive person. You can be winning outwardly and still be losing your glow. True purpose does not chase you with urgency. It does not pressure you with fear. It does not whisper threats like, if you don't do this now, you'll miss everything. Ing. Purpose is steady. It waits. It allows breathing room. Even when it stretches you, it doesn't erase you. If something demands that you abandon rest, intuition, or inner peace just to stay afloat, that is not divine pressure. It is misalignment wearing ambition's mask. Ask yourself gently, when did success start costing too much peace? When did you begin normalizing anxiety as dedication? When did rest feel like weakness instead of wisdom? These questions are not meant to judge you. They are meant to return you to yourself. Heaven never trades your peace for progress. Anything that requires you to live in constant tension to maintain it is asking for more than it's allowed to take. Heaven's redirection is subtle because chosen ones are sensitive to truth. God doesn't always collapse the structure. Sometimes he removes the ease. What once flowed begins to resist. What once excited you now exhausts you. Not because you failed, but because your spirit is being nudged forward. Something can look right, sound right, and still feel wrong in your body, in your prayers, in your quiet moments. That feeling is not fear, it is discernment sharpening. Have you noticed how your soul has been pulling away even while your mind tries to stay loyal? That is not confusion. That is alignment correcting itself. When the path is true, even the hard days feel meaningful. When it's false, even the winds feel heavy. Chosen one, you are not losing direction. You are being refined toward it. Purpose will never require you to betray your inner light. When you walk in what is truly yours, peace becomes confirmation, not a casualty. And that is how you know heaven is leading you, not rushing you. Chosen one, letting go is rarely dramatic. It doesn't always arrive with clarity or applause. Most of the time, it feels like failure first, like something slipping through your fingers that you were supposed to hold on to. Your mind asks hard questions. Did I quit too soon? Did I misunderstand the calling? Did I waste time, effort, or prayer? And yet, deep beneath those doubts, there is a quieter truth beginning to rise. Release feels like failure before it feels like freedom, because your identity was wrapped around the path. You didn't just invest energy, you invested hope, discipline, and pieces of your future imagination. Walking away from that doesn't feel like wisdom at first, it feels like loss. You mourn not only what was, but what you thought it would become. And chosen one, that grief is real. It deserves space. You are not weak for feeling it. You are human and you care deeply. There is a specific pain that comes from leaving something you gave your best to. You remember the long nights, the sacrifices no one saw, the prayers whispered when you were too tired to speak out loud. Letting go of a heavy path can feel like erasing your own effort. But ask yourself gently, was the weight getting heavier even as you grew stronger? Was the joy thinning even as your commitment deepened? These are not signs of failure. They are signs of completion. Chosen ones often confuse endurance with obedience. You were taught to persevere, to push through resistance, to stay faithful no matter how heavy it gets. And that strength carried you far. But there is a difference between enduring a storm and living in one. Obedience listens for when to stay and when to release. Heaven does not measure your devotion by how much you suffer. Sometimes the most obedient act is knowing when a season has ended. Divine timing doesn't always announce itself. Sometimes the path doesn't collapse. It quietly dissolves. Support fades. Motivation thins. Doors stop responding the way they once did. You try harder, but the effort no longer multiplies. This is not abandonment. This is alignment shifting. Trusting divine timing means allowing what is no longer supported by grace to gently fall away without forcing it back into place. Have you noticed how the fight left your body before it left your mind? How something in you already knew it was time, even while you were still explaining it to yourself? That inner knowing is sacred. It is the voice that speaks when words run out. Putting down what was never yours to carry is a holy act. It is not quitting. It is returning the weight to where it belongs. When you release the heavy path, your hands become free again. Free to receive what doesn't require self-abandonment. Free to walk lighter. Free to breathe. Chosen one, freedom doesn't always arrive with excitement. Sometimes it arrives as relief. And relief is often the first sign that you have chosen yourself in alignment with heaven. Chosen one, no one tells you this part. But after release, clarity often does not arrive. You expect peace to rush in the moment the door closes. You think certainty will replace confusion instantly. But instead, there is a strange quiet, a pause, a fog where answers should be. And that silence can feel unsettling if you don't understand what's happening within you. Clarity doesn't come immediately because your system has been under pressure for a long time. You didn't just leave a path. You exited a state of survival. Your spirit made the decision before your mind caught up, and now your body is catching its breath. The stillness you feel is not emptiness. It is recalibration. When pressure lifts, the nervous system doesn't celebrate right away. It rests. It exhales. It says, I'm safe enough to stop bracing. Have you noticed how tired you felt after it ended? Not before? That's because your strength was holding everything together. Now that the weight is gone, your body is processing what it carried in silence. Your heart slows down. Your thoughts wander. You may feel unmotivated, detached, or emotionally neutral. This is not regression. This is recovery. Emotional confusion is part of healing because multiple truths can exist at once. Relief and sadness can share the same space. Freedom can coexist with grief. Guilt can whisper even when you know you did the right thing. You might miss what hurt you, not because it was good, but because it was familiar. And the silence afterward can feel louder than the struggle ever was. Why does the mind replay what the soul has already released? Because the mind wants certainty and the soul wants truth. The soul already knows the chapter is complete. The mind, however, keeps scanning the past for evidence, trying to make sense of the ending, trying to protect you from repeating pain. That replay is not doubt, it's integration. It's the mind slowly aligning with what the soul decided in courage. Ask yourself gently, are you questioning because you made the wrong choice, or because you're no longer distracted by survival? When chaos ends, unresolved thoughts rise to the surface. That doesn't mean you should go back. It means you're finally still enough to feel. Learning to rest in the unknown is one of the hardest lessons for a chosen one. You were trained to endure, to fix, to move forward quickly. But this season is asking you not to rush clarity, not to punish yourself for feeling unsure, not to label silence as failure. The unknown is not empty, it is fertile. It is where new alignment quietly forms. Can you allow yourself to pause without explanation? Can you trust that not knowing yet does not mean you are lost? Self-blame tries to fill the quiet because it feels familiar, but peace grows when you stop accusing yourself for listening to your truth. Chosen one, confusion after release is not a sign you made the wrong decision. It is a sign that you are no longer forcing yourself forward. You are being gently held between chapters. And soon, without strain, without pressure, clarity will rise on its own, like light returning at dawn. Chosen one, there is a moment that arrives quietly, often when you're not trying to reach it, when acceptance settles into your body before it forms words in your mind. You don't announce it. You don't even fully notice it at first, but something changes. Your breath deepens. Your shoulders soften. The tension you were unconsciously holding loosens its grip. This is how healing begins, not with fireworks, but with relief. The body always knows before the mind does. After so long in pressure, your system learned to stay alert, braced, and prepared. But once acceptance takes root, the body exhales in a way it hasn't in a long time. Your chest expands more freely. Sleep comes easier. You catch yourself breathing slower without effort. Have you felt that subtle shift? That's not coincidence. That's your body recognizing it no longer has to defend you from the path you left behind. Peace doesn't return loudly. It doesn't rush in to prove anything. It arrives in fragments, moments of calm while doing ordinary things. A sudden stillness in your thoughts. A quiet morning that feels safe instead of heavy. You may not even connect it to the decision you made, but the timing is precise. Peace returns when alignment is restored, not when answers are complete. What's powerful about this season is that you begin to feel lighter without needing external proof. No validation, no reassurance, no dramatic confirmation from the outside world. You don't need to explain yourself anymore, not to others and not to yourself. The inner debate fades, the urge to justify disappears, and in its place is a gentle knowing. This was right for me. Have you noticed how you're no longer rehearsing explanations in your mind? How the need to defend your decision has softened? That's because your soul has stepped out of survival mode. It no longer needs constant affirmation. It has recognized safety again. When the soul feels safe, it opens. Creativity returns. Curiosity stirs. You start imagining a future without forcing it into shape. You laugh more easily. You rest without guilt. These are not small signs. These are confirmations far deeper than logic. Heaven doesn't always send messages through events. Sometimes it speaks through ease. For chosen ones, ease can feel unfamiliar. You were trained to associate struggle with growth, resistance with meaning. So when life becomes lighter, doubt may try to creep in. Should it really feel this calm? Am I missing something? But here is the truth. When ease comes after surrender, it is not avoidance. It is alignment. Ease becomes confirmation, not doubt, when it follows honesty. When you didn't escape, you listened. When you didn't quit, you completed a season. Peace is not the absence of purpose. It is the signal that you are finally walking in step with it. Chosen one, if life feels softer right now, don't rush to question it. Let yourself receive this lightness. It is not temporary comfort. It is the beginning of a path that does not require you to carry what was never meant to be yours. Chosen one, the next chapter often arrives without noise. No announcement, no dramatic shift that demands attention. It feels quieter, almost too simple to be significant. And that can confuse you because you were trained to recognize importance by intensity. But truth doesn't always shout. Sometimes it whispers, inviting you forward without urgency. This quietness is not emptiness. It is alignment settling into place. The path ahead feels truer because it no longer asks you to perform. You're not proving anything. You're not chasing permission. You're simply responding. Have you noticed how your decisions now come from a calmer place? How the inner debate has softened? That's because when you walk in truth, there is less resistance inside you. Ease is not the absence of effort. It is the absence of inner conflict. Learning to trust a path that doesn't require struggle is one of the hardest lessons for a chosen one. You survive by pushing through. You learn to equate pain with progress, intention with calling. So when a door opens without resistance, your mind hesitates. Is this too easy? Am I skipping something important? But ask yourself, how much of your strength was spent just trying to hold yourself together before? What if the struggle was never the requirement, only the preparation? Chosen ones are guided by peace, not pressure. Pressure shouts. Peace confirms. Pressure demands immediate action. Peace allows timing. When something is meant for you, it won't threaten to disappear if you slow down. It will remain steady. It will meet you where you are. That gentle pull you feel now, without fear attached, is guidance. Not everything from heaven arrives with urgency. Some things arrive with rest. Building a life that doesn't demand self-abandonment is an act of spiritual maturity. You are no longer shrinking your needs to fit expectations. You are no longer silencing your intuition to maintain approval. This new chapter asks you to stay present with yourself while you move forward, to check in, not check out, to remain whole, not heroic. Can you imagine a life where you don't have to disappear to succeed? Moving forward without force feels unfamiliar at first. Fear may ask, what if I lose momentum? What if I fall behind? But force was never your fuel. It was your survival response. Now, alignment becomes your energy source. You move because it feels right, not because you're afraid to stop. You act from clarity, not urgency. From trust, not tension. Notice how heaviness no longer leads your choices. You're not bracing before each step. You're not convincing yourself to keep going. There is space inside you again. Space to listen, space to rest, space to receive. This is not passivity. It is power without resistance. Chosen one, walking toward ease does not mean your life will be small. It means it will be sustainable. True purpose does not demand your exhaustion as proof of devotion. It meets you in peace and grows with you. And as you continue forward, gently, steadily, you'll realize you're not slowing down. You're finally walking in the right direction.